Loan will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at www.robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodity interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Display prices are based on real-time market signals. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant at Sparkle. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. This station does not recommend.
News Radio 1440 with you everywhere on your AM dial at 1440 on 95.1 HD3 on FM through our app on the App Store or through your Alexa or Google smart home device.
We're back. This is America in the Morning. It's 5 till. It seems like we're all trying to prepare for Election Day and beyond. And as entertainment correspondent Margie Zaraletta reports, this includes planning for the upcoming guest hosts for NBC's Saturday Night Live.
Comedian and actor Bill Burr will return for his second stint as host of Saturday Night Live on November 9th. The significance of that is it will be the first SNL after the presidential election. Producer and musician McGee will be the musical guest. Charlie XCX will be both the host and musical guest on November 16th. This week's SNL will feature John Mulaney as host and Chappell Roan as guest musician. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
A new Tom Hanks film takes a look at the extraordinary world of everyday life. Kevin Carr has a sneak peek at Here.
Tom Hanks and Robin Wright reunite with director Robert Zemeckis for a new film.
This was our home. We lived here.
Here tells the story of a home, starting from wilderness in prehistoric times to the life of mostly one family. Hanks and Wright play a couple we see going from high school to retirement and the struggles they face over the years.
I'm sure does fine, doesn't
It sure does.
Zemeckis is a talented director, but he often gets distracted by gimmick filmmaking. And make no mistake, Here's one camera setup perspective is the ultimate gimmick. It's got some interesting moments, but it's loaded with challenges.
Right here is where we want to be.
Here tries to show a mosaic of American families, but struggles to avoid idealizing even the toughest times. And with the fly-on-the-wall perspective, too many moments feel like stilted opening scenes from a stage play. Only the acting of Hanks and Wright carry us beyond that.
You could spend the rest of the night here.
You could spend the rest of my life here.
As real as the human experiences are in this film, the reality reveals too many insufferable characters I couldn't care less about.
Thank you for bringing us together.
Technically impressive, but dull from the story perspective, Here gets 2 bay windows out of 5. I'm Kevin Carr, and that's the way I see it.
Behind bars for Thanksgiving. But after that, nobody knows for certain. A judge has set December 11th as the date for a resentencing hearing for Eric and Lyle Menendez. The date was decided by Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Michael Jessic after prosecutors submitted a recommendation for the brothers, who had spent the last 34 years in prison after being found guilty of the shotgun murder of their parents in 1989 in their Beverly Hills home. The brothers' attorneys never disputed the pair killed their parents, but argued that they acted out of self-defense after years of emotional and sexual abuse by their father. Much of the evidence related to abuse was excluded from their second trial. If the judge approves the resentencing, the brothers could go free after appearing before a state parole board. That's our show for today, Friday, November 1st, 2024. America in the Morning is produced by Jeff McKay. Senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Strauss. This is Westwood One.
Hi, I'm Queen Latifah. Even with heart failure, my mother remains strong.
Because without strength, you lose hope. Together, we will rise above heart failure.
To help prevent, improve, or manage heart failure, go to riseabovehf.org.
My wife and I enjoyed a wonderful dinner last week with friends we hadn't seen in a long time. The next day, we received a handwritten note which they delivered to our mailbox, letting us know how much they had enjoyed our dinner together, along with an article that we had discussed. You know, in today's high-tech, low-touch world, it's refreshing to get a thoughtful handwritten note once in a while. It's enough to inspire me to get started. To learn more, check us out at BeKindnessRevolution.net.
Listen to News Radio 1440 at work. NewsRadio1440.com. At home through your Alexa or Google smart home device. Depend on it. News Radio 1440. WLWI-AM, the home of the Ben Shapiro Show, and heard on 95.1 HD3 FM, Montgomery, the Cumulus Media Station.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm Peter King. Former President Trump has been attacking his Democratic opponent relentlessly, but last night he saved some of his most personal venom for a Republican who supports Kamala Harris, calling her, quote, dumb, very dumb. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Phoenix.
Campaigning in Arizona, former President Donald Trump hurled insults at a number of politicians and directed this violent rhetoric at former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Cheney responded this morning in a post on X, writing, "This is how dictators destroy free nations."
CBS's Nancy Cordes is with the Harris campaign as the vice president responds to another comment by Trump.
In Arizona, where an abortion referendum is on the ballot come Tuesday, Harris hammered Trump for a comment he made about women on Wednesday.
That he will do what he wants, quote, and here's where I'm going to quote, whether the women like it or not.
The fight between Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott and the Biden administration over immigration issues goes to a new level. Starting today, Texas hospitals have to file information with the state on migrants they treat. CBS Texas reporter Lacey Beasley.
The governor is asking for data on inpatient discharges and emergency services by undocumented immigrants. He's also wanting to know how much this is costing to take care of them, and he's asking for federal reimbursement.
An American being held in Russia is headed for more prison time. Here's CBS's Vicki Barker.
A court in the far eastern city of Vladivostok has just sentenced Robert Shonov, a Russian national and former employee of the U.S. consulate there, to 4 years and 10 months for cooperating with a foreign state. The State Department had called the charges against him wholly without merit.
A 7-week strike at Boeing may be close to the end. Cairo Radio's Matt Markovich is in Seattle.
A tweet sent out by the union says negotiators have reached an agreement on a proposal that calls for a 38% wage increase over 4 years, a $12,000 ratification bonus. The previous amount was $7,000, and a $5,000 lump sum payment into an employee's 401k plan.
The government's October jobs report is due shortly with low expectations. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Remember, both the Boeing strike and 2 hurricanes hit during the reference period of this report, and that's likely to negatively impact the results.
Ahead of that report and the opening bell, S&P futures are up 24. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, if you join before November 15th, and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now, you'll save even more. Here's the number, 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE, 877-64-BIBLE.
The Los Angeles Dodgers will have their World Series victory parade this afternoon. More from KNX reporter Craig Fickner.
Go Dodgers. Rarely is the mood so electric during a press conference with Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. She walked out sporting a Dodgers jersey, welcomed the team home to Los Angeles from New York.
I am feeling like victory. Victory. This is a wonderful day. On behalf of the entire city, I want to express our pride and heartfelt congratulations to the Dodgers. to the players and to their families. We are a city of champions.
Craig Figner for CBS News, Los Angeles.
Fox Network may be holding its own victory parade after learning that Game 5 of the series attracted nearly 19 million viewers on all platforms, making it the most watched series game in 5 years. An average of nearly 16 million people watched the 5 series games, best average since 2017. Peter King, CBS News.
Unable to work because of an injury at the fault of someone else? Call me, Johnny Adams.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at www.robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodity interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Display prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. This station does not recommend any specific investment.
Join Sean Hannity Sundays at 3 p.m. for the Encore Show.
Chinese, the Russians don't fear Joe Biden.
On News Radio 1440. Your WSFA First Alert Weather Forecast on News Radio 1440.
Sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on America's most dependable 5G network. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Mild start to our Friday with plenty of clouds around. Gives way to clouds and some sunshine by this afternoon. Temperatures warm up mid to low 80s today with a bit of a south breeze. 1 or 2 showers are possible. Most will stay dry. As we move into tonight, lows will hover in the 60s with a partly cloudy sky. Both Saturday and Sunday feature a mix of sun and clouds with highs in the mid 80s and overnight lows in the 60s. And that's your First Alert forecast. I'm WSFA meteorologist Nick Gunter on News Radio 1440.
Montgomery Skywatch traffic brought to you by Sons Automotive, family owned, family driven on News Radio 1440.
Good morning, Montgomery. Right now, things are looking good. Your 7 o'clock hour kicks off with no major problems or accidents. Interstate systems moving smoothly into and through the Tri-County area. Keep listening. We'll keep you posted. At McKinnon Nissan, you can get a 2024 Rogue with financing as low as 1.9% for 36 months. It's worth the drive. McKinnon Nissan exit 212 off I-65 in Clanton. Buckle up. It's the law. For Montgomery Skywatch traffic, this is Major Delay.
Good morning. I'm Jasmine Williams at WSFA 12 News. Here's what's happening this Friday. November is here and things are heating up as we get closer to Election Day. In Alabama, all eyes are on the newly redrawn Congressional District 2 seat. Democrat Shamari Figures and Republican Caroline Dobson on the ballot for this race. We will interview both of them today on WSFA, starting at 11 on Alabama Live. The search is officially on for Montgomery Public Schools' next superintendent, and this week the Montgomery Chamber hosted a State of the Schools address focusing on education and moving forward. This all comes after Dr. Melvin Brown announced he was stepping down as the head of MPS, citing issues with the school board. A familiar face in Montgomery County's district attorney's office was promoted to the top job. Governor Kay Ivey appointed Azzy Oliver as the next DA. She previously served in the office as chief deputy and was recommended for the job by retiring DA Darrell Bailey. I'm Jasmine Williams with your morning headlines.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
Montgomery Men's Health has years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call Montgomery Men's Health at 334-440-3663 or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now. Dial 334-440-3663 or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health, making it happen.
You see miracles all the time at our children's hospital, but miracles never come easy. That's why, as great as children's hospitals are, they need our support to keep miracles happening. Put your money where the miracles are. Support your Children's Miracle Network Hospital.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
He's smart, witty, and fast on the draw. It's Mark Levin this afternoon at 5 p.m. on News Radio 1440.
Whoa.
You need to reset, refocus on your day. The moment where you take a deep breath and change the focus from the problem to the problem solver. This is Decisions with Kevin Elkins.
Good morning, Montgomery, Alabama. It's time to rise and shine. But once again, you're on top of the ground, and the ground's not on top of you. Good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins, and this is News Radio 1440. It is time for our daily bread. It's a Friday. Going into the weekend, it carries us through. It is November the 1st, believe it or not, 2024. Our daily bread for the day is titled, Time Well Spent. Our scripture insight today comes from Ephesians 5:15 through 20. But we'll get it started with Ephesians 5:15 through 16, which reads, Be very careful then how you live, making the most of every opportunity. Ephesians 5:15 through 16. Govern yourselves accordingly. And again, it is November the 1st, 2024. It is a day that has never been. Like all the other days of the past, it is a day that will never, ever come again. You don't get a do-over. You don't get it back. You don't get to summon it from the past. You don't get a chance to come back and do all the things that you should have done this day that you don't. And more importantly, you don't get a chance to come back and undo the things that you do. So whatever it is that you do with this day, hopefully that if tomorrow should be, you'll be proud of what you have done this day. If you've lived a while, you've heard many, many yesterdays. And if we are blessed and given the grace, the mercy, and the love of God, we may see some tomorrows. But if tomorrow should never be, then it is this day. That is the first day of the rest of our lives. What are we going to do with it? Well, do what you can, while you can, for whom you can, for as long as you can, until you can. Because somewhere along your life journey, somebody did the same for you. A hand to lift you up, a shoulder to cry on, some advice that changed your life. And love, well, I don't need to tell you what that does. Benjamin Elijah May said, whatever you do in life, we should do it so well, no man living, no man dead, no man yet to be born can do it any better. And I'd say if that is the standard by which you live life, you'll always be successful. The only way you fail is that you quit. Rest if you can. Give out if you must. But never quit. Never, ever give up. Because quitters will never win. And winners never quit. And no matter what happens this day, remember this. It is a great day. A stupendous and extraordinary day to be alive. Good morning to you. Time well spent. That's our daily bread for today. Believe it or not, November the 1st. Finally got the day right.
Welcome to today's encouragement from our daily bread. I'm Wynn Collier, and I wrote today's piece, Time Well Spent. On March 14th, 2019, NASA rockets ignited, catapulting astronaut Christina Koch toward the International Space Station. Koch would return to Earth for 328 days, giving her the record for the longest continuous space flight by a woman. Every day, living roughly 254 miles above the Earth, a screen kept track of the astronaut's time in 5-minute increments. She had a myriad of daily tasks to complete, from meals to experiments. And hour after hour, a red line inched along the display, constantly showing whether Koch was ahead or behind schedule. Not a moment to waste. While certainly not recommending anything so intrusive as a red line ruling over our life, the Apostle Paul did encourage us to carefully use our precious, limited resource of time. Be very careful then how you live, he wrote in Ephesians 5, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. God's wisdom instructs us to fill our days with intention and care, employing them to practice obedience to him, to love our neighbor, and to participate in Jesus' ongoing redemption in the world. Sadly, it's entirely possible to ignore wisdom's instruction and instead use our time foolishly, frittering away our years in selfish or destructive pursuits. The point isn't to obsessively fret about time, but simply to follow God in obedience and trust. He will help us make the most of our days. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 to 20. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another with psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit. Sing and make music from your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for everything, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Let's pray. Dear God, Please help us make the most of our time. We know our days are limited, and we want you to be Lord of each of our moments. In Jesus' name, amen. Today's encouragement was provided by our Daily Bread Ministries.
All right, I told y'all no PT on Friday. Somebody didn't get the SOP. That's a standard operating procedure. But it is still a great day to salute our armed forces of these United States. Admiral Raven is coming up today as your motivational speaker to get your act together today. But right now, let us pay homage to the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. It's Friday. No running on Friday. Gotta, matter of fact, I gotta go back and heat up my coffee. So, good morning to you, Montgomery. It's time to rise and shine. Also, let's say good morning to our local soldiers, sailors, and airmen, Marine. We don't call them that, but they pretty much do the same thing sometimes. Montgomery Police Department, good morning. How you guys doing out there rolling around the streets? Keep me safe at night. Outstanding. How about the Montgomery County Sheriff Department? Dear Cunningham and the boys. I really can't pronounce the police chief name. I don't know, Boles or something like that, but I guess he'll tell me one of these days. Good morning to the mayor. Matter of fact, I ran into the mayor yesterday, and Shamari and Akeem Jeffries and all those folks. Tell you a little bit about that meeting yesterday. Who else I met yesterday? I met some big mucky mucks yesterday. Oh yeah, and I had a couple of seconds to talk to Congresswoman Sewell. As a matter of fact, told her I've been trying to get on for 10 years. Then her assistant said, "No, you haven't. No, you haven't." Oh, who the hell office I've been calling? Anyway, you know they wasn't coming on here because I wasn't a Democrat. You know that's the deal. But that's okay. That's all right. My vote count too. Maybe not much, but a little bit. And ran to Shamari Figures. Today, of course, we do have Colleen Dobson coming on about 9 o'clock, running for that district, congressional district number 2. So we'll talk to her and, see what's going on with that. I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce her name too. It's a Colleen or Coraline, or I think it's Caroline actually. That's an unusual name. And good morning to Maxwell and Gunner Air Force Base. After all, this is an Air Force town, and we must pay homage to those young men out there in the blue. They're not up yet, so they don't have to worry about it. You can't even so they sleep. Air Force don't get them. It's probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Not a problem. They need their rest. Got to fly them planes. And even though we got some calls from the old base down there, we got some listeners down there at Fort Bragg, but they call it something else now, Fort Liberty, something like that, which I really don't have a problem with the Fort Liberty thing. Okay, that makes sense since this whole thing is about liberty, isn't it? But anyway, good morning to the 82nd Airborne. Hoorah! No, that's hoo-ah. And I got some friends over in Germany listening this morning. Appreciate it. If you see Bomb Holder, tell them I said hi. I ain't coming back. Now, if I can get a free trip to Kaiserslautern, that may be different. Head, hoot, head, hoot, rest. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so motivated this morning. I'm motivated every morning. Okay. Now this morning, it's a Friday, and I like to get new callers just to prove to myself that I'm not wasting my total time up here in the morning, trying to, fulfill my obligation to keep the world informed, at least somewhat. Anyway, going to tell you about the meeting yesterday. After this, that King Jeffrey was here, Sewell was here. I mean, man, when they got done talking about the Republicans, my Lord, I just want to go out and almost hang myself. But anyway, for even thinking about voting for an But anyway, so much for that. But then again, what did I expect? Here's my problem with politicians today, and this goes along with Trump too. We can't talk about policy, but we can talk about each other. Now, he said something yesterday that was stupid too. He did. Only 2 people left on the ballot, and I can't vote for her. So got to vote for somebody. Got to vote for somebody. But now what he said yesterday about what's her name, I thought that was kind of crappy. I mean, we're supposed to be intelligent people. Who did he talk about? Cheney? Yeah, I think talked about Cheney. Come on. You're running to be the president of the United States. Don't be talking about guns and putting in people's face and all that stuff. I mean, come on. I wish we had another choice. But we don't. DeSantis would have been the man. DeSantis would have been the man. But that's okay. Anyway, let me get off that. We'll talk about that. We'll all morning talk about that. Anyway, how do you change the world? Well, Admiral McRaven is going to tell you how to do that this morning. So hang loose, and I'll be back after this brief, not so brief timeout.
Thank you. Well, thank you, President Powers, Provost Fenves, deans, members of the faculty, family, and friends, and most importantly, the class of 2014. It is indeed an honor for me to be here tonight. It's been almost 37 years to the day that I graduated from UT. I remember a lot of things about that day. I remember I had a throbbing headache from a party the night before. I remember I had a serious girlfriend who I later married. That's important to remember, by the way. And I remember I was getting commissioned in the Navy that day. But of all the things I remember, I don't have a clue who the commencement speaker was, and I certainly don't remember anything they said. So acknowledging that fact, if I can't make this commencement speech memorable, I will at least try to make it short. So the university's slogan is, what starts here changes the world. Well, I've got to admit, I kind of like it. What starts here changes the world. Tonight, there are almost 8,000 students, or there are more than 8,000 students graduated from UT. So that great paragon of analytical rigor, Ask.com, says that the average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime. 10,000 people, that's a lot of folks. But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those people changed the lives of another 10 people, and another 10, then in 5 generations, 125 years, the class of 2014 will have changed the lives of 800 million people. 800 million people. Think about it. Over twice the population of the United States. Go one more generation, and you can change the entire population of the world, 8 billion people. If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever, you're wrong. I saw it happen every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. A young Army officer makes a decision to go left instead of right down a road in Baghdad, and the 10 soldiers with him are saved from a close-in ambush. In Kandahar province, Afghanistan, a non-commissioned officer from the female engagement team senses that something isn't right and directs the infantry platoon away from a 500-pound IED, saving the lives of a dozen soldiers. But if you think about it, not only were those soldiers saved by the decisions of one person, but their children were saved, and their children's children. Generations were saved by one decision, one person. But changing the world can happen anywhere and anyone can do it. So what starts here can indeed change the world. But the question is, what will the world look like after you change it? Well, I'm confident that it will look much, much better. But if you'll humor this old sailor for just a moment, I have a few suggestions that may help you on your way to a better world. And while these lessons were learned during my time in the military, I can assure you that it matters not whether you ever served a day in uniform. It matters not your gender, your ethnic or religious background, your orientation, or your social status. Our struggles in this world are similar, and the lessons to overcome those struggles and to move forward, changing ourselves and changing the world around us, will apply equally to all. I've been a Navy SEAL for 36 years, but it all began when I left UT for basic SEAL training in Coronado, California. Basic SEAL training is 6 months of long, torturous runs in the soft sand, midnight swims in the cold water off San Diego, obstacle courses, unending calisthenics, days without sleep, and always being cold, wet, and miserable. It is 6 months of being constantly harassed by professionally trained warriors who seek to find the weak of mind and body and eliminate them from ever becoming a Navy SEAL. But the training also seeks to find those students who can lead in an environment of constant stress, chaos, failure, and hardships. To me, basic SEAL training was a lifetime of challenges crammed into 6 months. So here are the 10 lessons I learned from basic SEAL training that hopefully will be of value to you as you move forward in life. Every morning in SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they'd do was inspect my bed. If you did it right, the corners would be square, the covers would be pulled tight, the pillow centered just under the headboard, and the extra blanket folded neatly at the foot of the rack. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, particularly in light of the fact that we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. During SEAL training, the students are all broken down into boat crews. Each crew is 7 students, 3 on each side of a small rubber boat, and 1 coxswain to help guide the dinghy. Every day, your boat crew forms up on the beach and is instructed to get through the surf zone and paddle several miles down the coast. In the winter, the surf off San Diego can get to be 8 to 10 feet high, and it is exceedingly difficult to paddle through the plunging surf unless everyone digs in. Every paddle must be synchronized to the stroke count of the coxswain. Everyone must exert equal effort, or the boat will turn against the wave and be unceremoniously dumped back on the beach. For the boat to make it to its destination, everyone must paddle. You can't change the world alone. You will need some help. And to truly get from your starting point to your destination takes friends, colleagues, the goodwill of strangers, and a strong coxswain to guide you. If you want to change the world, find someone to help you paddle. Over a few weeks of difficult training, my SEAL class, which started with 150 men, was down to just 42. There were now 6 boat crews of 7 men each. I was in the boat with the tall guys, but the best boat crew we had was made up of the little guys, the Munchkin crew, we call them. No one was over 5'5". The Munchkin boat crew had 1 American Indian, 1 African American, 1 Polish American, 1 Greek American, 1 Italian American, and 2 tough kids from the Midwest. They out-paddled, outran, and outswam all the other boat crews. The big men in the other boat crews would always make good-natured fun of the tiny little flippers the Munchkins put on their tiny little feet prior to every swim. But somehow these little guys from every corner of the nation and the world always had the last laugh, swimming faster than everyone and reaching the shore long before the rest of us. SEAL training was a great equalizer. Nothing mattered but your will to succeed, not your color, not your ethnic background, not your education, not your social status. If you want to change the world, measure a person by the size of their heart, not by the size of their flippers. Several times a week, the instructors would line up the class and do a uniform inspection. It was exceptionally thorough. Your hat had to be perfectly starched, your uniform immaculately pressed, your belt buckle shiny and void of any smudges. But it seemed that no matter how much effort you put into starching your hat or pressing your uniform or polishing your belt buckle, it just wasn't good enough. The instructors would find something wrong. For failing the uniform inspection, the student had to run fully clothed into the surf zone, then wet from head to toe, roll around on the beach until every part of your body was covered with sand. The effect was known as a sugar cookie. You stayed in the uniform the rest of the day, cold, wet, and sandy. There were many a student who just couldn't accept the fact that all their efforts were in vain, that no matter how hard they tried to get the uniform right, it went unappreciated. Those students didn't make it through training. Those students didn't understand the purpose of the drill. You were never going to succeed. You were never going to have a perfect uniform. The instructors weren't going to allow it. Sometimes, no matter how well you prepare or how well you perform, you still end up as a sugar cookie. It's just the way life is sometimes. If you want to change the world, get over being a sugar cookie and keep moving forward. Every day during training, you were challenged with multiple physical events, long runs, long swims, obstacle courses, hours of calisthenics, something designed to test your mettle. Every event had standards, times you had to meet. If you failed to meet those times, those standards, your name was posted on a list, and at the end of the day, those on the list were invited to a circus. A circus was 2 hours of additional calisthenics, designed to wear you down, to break your spirit, to force you to quit. No one wanted a circus. A circus meant that for that day, you didn't measure up. A circus meant more fatigue, and more fatigue meant that the following day would be more difficult, and more circuses were likely. But at some time during SEAL training, everyone made the circus list. But an interesting thing happened to those who were constantly on the list. Over time, those students who did 2 hours of extra calisthenics got stronger and stronger. The pain of the circuses built inner strength and physical resiliency. Life is filled with circuses. You will fail. You will likely fail often. It will be painful. It will be discouraging. At times, it will test you to your very core. But if you want to change the world, don't be afraid of the circuses. At least twice a week, the trainees were required to run the obstacle course. The obstacle course contained 25 obstacles, including a 10-foot wall, a 30-foot cargo net, a barbed wire crawl, to name a few. But the most challenging obstacle was the slide for life. It had a 3-level, 30-foot tower at one end and a 1-level tower at the other. In between was a 200-foot long rope. You had to climb the 3-tiered tower, and once at the top, you grabbed the rope, swung underneath the rope, and pulled yourself hand over hand until you got to the other end. The record for the obstacle course had stood for years when my class began in 1977. The record seemed unbeatable until one day a student decided to go down the slide for life head first. Instead of swinging his body underneath the rope and inching his way down, he bravely mounted the top of the rope and thrust himself forward. It was a dangerous move, seemingly foolish and fraught with risk. Failure could mean injury and being dropped from the course. Without hesitation, the student slid down the rope perilously fast. Instead of several minutes, it only took him half that time. And by the end of the course, he had broken the record. If you want to change the world, sometimes you have to slide down the obstacles head first. During the land warfare phase of training, The students are flown out to San Clemente Island, which lies off the coast of San Diego. The waters off San Clemente are a breeding ground for the great white sharks. To pass SEAL training, there are a series of long swims that must be completed. One is the night swim. Before the swim, the instructors joyfully brief the students on all the species of sharks that inhabit the waters off San Clemente. They assure you, however, that no student has ever been eaten by a shark, at least not that they can remember. But you are also taught that if a shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground. Do not swim away. Do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then summons up all your strength and punch him in the snout, and he will turn and swim away. There are a lot of sharks in the world. If you hope to complete the swim, you will have to deal with them. So if you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks.
Amen.
As Navy SEALs, one of our jobs is to conduct underwater attacks against enemy shipping. We practice this technique extensively during training. The ship attack mission is where a pair of SEAL divers is dropped off outside an enemy harbor and then swims well over 2 miles underwater, using nothing but a depth gauge and a compass to get to the target. During the entire swim, even well below the surface, there is some light that comes through. It is comforting to know that there is open water above you. But as you approach the ship, which is tied to a pier, the light begins to fade. The steel structure of the ship blocks the moonlight. It blocks the surrounding street lamps. It blocks all ambient light. To be successful in your mission, you have to swim under the ship and find the keel, the center line, and the deepest part of the ship. This is your objective. But the keel is also the darkest part of the ship, where you cannot see your hand in front of your face, where the noise from the ship's machinery is deafening, and where it gets to be easily disoriented, and you can fail. Every SEAL knows that under the keel, at that darkest moment of the mission, is the time when you need to be calm, when you must be calm, when you must be composed, when all your tactical skills, your physical power, and your inner strength must be brought to bear. If you want to change the world, you must be your very best in the darkest moments.
We got to get you in here.
The 9th week of training is referred to as Hell Week.
Okay.
It is 6 days of no sleep, constant physical and mental harassment, and one special day at the Mud Flats. The Mud Flats are an area between San Diego and Tijuana where the water runs off and creates the Tijuana Sloughs, a swampy patch of terrain where the mud will engulf you. It is on Wednesday of Hell Week that you paddle down to the Mud Flats and spend the next 15 hours trying to survive this freezing cold, the howling wind, and the incessant pressure to quit from the instructors. As the sun began to set that Wednesday evening, my training class, having committed some egregious infraction of the rules, was ordered into the mud. The mud consumed each man till there was nothing visible but our heads. The instructors told us we could leave the mud if only 5 men would quit. Only 5 men, just 5 men, and we could get out of the oppressive cold. Looking around the mud flat, it was apparent that some students were about to give up. It was still over 8 hours till the sun came up. 8 more hours of bone-chilling cold. The chattering teeth and the shivering moans of the trainees were so loud, it was hard to hear anything. And then one voice began to echo through the night. One voice raised in song. The song was terribly out of tune, but sung with great enthusiasm. One voice became 2, and 2 became 3, and before long, everyone in the class was singing. The instructors threatened us with more time in the mud if we kept up the singing, but the singing persisted, and somehow the mud seemed a little warmer, and the wind a little tamer, and the dawn not so far away. If I have learned anything in my time traveling the world, it is the power of hope, the power of one person, a Washington, a Lincoln, King, Mandela, and even a young girl from Pakistan, Malala. One person can change the world by giving people hope. So if you want to change the world, start singing when you're up to your neck in mud.
Amen to that.
Finally, in SEAL training, there's a bell. a brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit, is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to be in the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to endure the hardships of training. All you have to do is ring the bell to get out. If you want to change the world, don't ever ring the bell. To the class of 2014, you are moments away from graduating, moments away from beginning your journey through life, moments away from starting to change the world for the better. It will not be easy, but you are the class of 2014, the class that can affect the lives of 800 million people in the next century. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, when the times are the toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never, ever give up. If you do these things, the next generation and the generations that follow
Never, ever ring the bell. Because once that bell rings, you can never unring it. Never quit. Never give up. It is better to have tried and failed than to try and quit. Good morning to you. It's November the 1st. I hope you got something out of that. I get something out of it every time I hear it. But I'm not a seer. So, but I went through some tough training, though. I did. The Rangers wasn't easy to get in. Started with 31 people. By the time we got down to the last week, in that we call it RIP, Ranger Doctor Explorer, there were 13 people left. Hey, I was one of those 13. Don't ever quit. Don't ever give up. Because quitters will never win. And while winners may fail at a thing or two, they never quit. Good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine. Okay, we're back. All right, then. How you doing? Two in the morning. Again, Caroline Dobson will be with us. Is scheduled to be with us at about 9 o'clock, 9:10, somewhere around there. She is the running for the seat that Shamari Figures is running for. So we'll see what she's got to say. But up until then, let's go to the phone and see who is there. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, well, he didn't make a he didn't make a threat, but he made an analogy. Okay, yeah. I just thought it's kind of classless, But hey, but I still ain't gonna vote for her. What? Yes. Hmm. Not necessarily. First of all, I don't go to church. I don't go to church for the well. What, mhm. I want to know. No, no, no. Listen, I join the church as long as it's at least an 80-20 agreement. In other words, if I can agree with 80% of the things you say, then I'm good with it. You're never going to agree with everything that people say. Even if it's even if it's the church, right? Right. And right now I'm 80% with them. Yeah, I'm 80% with them. Yeah. Mhm. We are. We are. Yeah. No, no, I'm not. No. Just about everything the guy says, I do agree with. But I don't agree with everything, like I just got done telling you. It's, well, the preacher, not the church, but the preacher. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And again, do you, let me ask you something. Do you believe in killing your babies? Like I said, do you believe it? Okay, so why are you supporting somebody who believes in it then? Exactly. Well, that okay, but but you're supporting somebody. Well, listen, without life, there is no other issue important in this world besides life. None. I ain't voting for Trump's wife. Yeah. Okay. The man ain't said nothing about no race. When did he say something about a race? Let me let me okay. Let me give you something. That Klan rally, all that stuff. Let me give you a story. There was a staff sergeant in the army that was brought up. Wait a minute, that was brought up on charges. You know why he's brought up on charges? Because he no no he didn't like anybody. He didn't like anybody. I mean, he was a butthole to everybody, and people complained about him. Wait, no. I'm gonna finish my sentence. Okay, just give me a second to finish it. The guy was a butthole to everybody, so he's brought up on charges. At his court martial, he said he told the court martial people, the officers and he said, "Listen, I'm an aide to everybody." And guess what? They found out that he was absolutely right. He was an aide to everybody, and they let him go. Okay, so wait. Okay, see, you didn't have to use the word. There you go. Get money on there. Can't use that word on the radio. Good morning. What happened? Right. Well, listen. You're absolutely right. And when we come back in the next hour, I joined the press conference yesterday with the all the Akeem Jeffries, the minority speaker of the House, and the Shamari and the mayor and everybody else like that. Now, I felt like a fish out of water when I was down there, but I'll tell you what happened when I come back. We'll be back in a few minutes here, so you guys hang loose, don't go no place. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hopefully, we'll.
News. Here's what's happening.
Makes me feel that
Things are heating up as we get closer to election day in Alabama. All eyes are on a newly redrawn congressional District 2 seat. Democrat Shamari Figures and Republican Caroline Dobson on the ballot for this race. We will interview both of them today on WSFA, starting at 11 on Alabama Live. The search is officially on for Montgomery Public Schools' next superintendent, and this week the Montgomery Chamber hosted a State of the Schools address focusing on education and moving forward. This all comes after Dr. Melvin Brown announced he was stepping down as the head of MPS, citing issues with the school board. A familiar face in Montgomery County's district attorney's office was promoted to the top job. Governor Kay Ivey appointed Azzy Oliver as the next DA. She previously served in the office as chief deputy and was recommended for the job by retiring DA Darrell Bailey. I'm Jasmine Williams with your morning headlines.
News Radio 1440 WLWI AM, the home of Sean Hannity. Also on 95.1 HD3 FM, Montgomery, Alabama.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Peter King. The government's October jobs report was, as expected, not great.
This report was plagued by hurricanes Helene and Milton.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
In addition to devastating wide swaths of the southeast, prior to the landfall of both storms, there were large-scale evacuations, which probably pushed down job creation dramatically in the area.
Overall, the Labor Department says hiring dropped sharply to just 12,000 new jobs. It was more than 223,000 back in September. Unemployment stayed flat at 4.1%. The home stretch of campaign 2024 has Vice President Kamala Harris campaigning today in Wisconsin. Former President Donald Trump also goes to Wisconsin and then Michigan. CBS News campaign correspondent Robert Costa on what to expect for the next few days.
They're trying to reawaken their bases in each respective party. They're also trying to reintroduce themselves to voters. Some voters really, I know we've been paying attention, it seems like years to this campaign. Some voters don't start really paying attention until this final weekend. So you're going to see a return to core messages.
Overnight in Orlando, late night Halloween celebrations shattered by gunfire. When it was over, 6 people were wounded, 2 people dead. WKMG TV Steve Montiero is a former Florida State Trooper.
People just started running all throughout downtown. On body camera video, you see Orlando Police Department officers that were out there working the security detail identify the shooter and take this suspect to the ground.
That suspect is a 17-year-old man. No word yet on a possible motive. The death toll from the rain and flash floods in eastern Spain has passed the 200 mark, with many people trapped in their homes. CBS's Vicki Barker is at the foreign desk.
Survivors pick through what's left of their homes. My wife and I don't want to live here anymore, this man says. He breaks down when he says local authorities failed to do anything about the ever-worsening floods, and now this. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
We all know that sugar is sweet, but too much is not good for you. And new research shows that if you start restricting sugar at a very young age, you've got a better chance at avoiding a major health issue. CBS's Michael George.
A study in the UK looked at the post-World War II era when sugar was being rationed. It found that babies born during that time grew up to have a 35% lower chance of having diabetes and a 20% lower chance of having high blood pressure.
Ahead of the opening bell, S&P futures are up 30, Dow futures are up 217 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility, great pay, and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
New Year's Eve is less than 2 months away. It's a good time to start planning if you're headed to New York.
Watching the ball drop to usher in the new year is a bucket list item for many. This year's performers include LL Cool J, Paul Anka,
Yes, there were times,
and Jelly Roll. The Knickerbocker Hotel in Times Square throws a blowout party.
We have one of the most unique vantage points in the city, being 150 feet right below the Times Square ball drop.
Executive chef Adam Raxon is already preparing for the event that includes a buffet dinner at Charlie Palmer's Steak 4 and free-flowing drinks at the rooftop bar St. Cloud. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
And congratulations to a bat named Horry Potter. Oregon's Bureau of Land Management has named him this year's Bat Beauty after putting his picture and a bunch of others online and asking viewers to vote for the cutest one of all. We kid you not. Peter King, CBS News.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Display prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Telling it like it really is.
That's the fact, Jack.
It's the Dan Bongino Show, weekdays from 11 to 2 on News Radio 1440.
Okay, we are back. Good morning. Hope this day finds everybody well. I'm feeling good. It feels like Monday more than it does Friday. But it is Friday. Friday, yeah, I figure if you want the week to go by fast, get up early in the morning. Because if you have to be at work early in the morning, next thing you know, okay, you're at work. Next thing you know, you're off work. Next thing you know, it's time to get ready to come back to work. There's the day's already gone. Okay. What I really wouldn't want to do is work third shift. Okay. I just couldn't do that. I tried that working in the hospital in Rome, Georgia. I did try. It didn't work out for me. Every time they saw me, I was asleep. So they fired me. Okay, then it was just my body said it's time to go to sleep. It's dark outside. I mean, come on. You don't be working, even though there was a lot of lights in the hospital. What I work at? North Georgia Regional Hospital, alcoholic and drug addict. I worked at the alcoholic and drug addict wing, whatever that was. I was like an orderly. They call them something else now. I think we call them orderly technicians now. Yeah, but I was an orderly. Actually, though, I kind of like some of the people I met there. I just couldn't understand how you could get drunk every weekend and be such a great guy when you're sober. I just never could figure that out. Because some of these guys, matter of fact, Emmanuel, I named Emmanuel, gave him the name of one of the people who I always saw drunk. But when he wasn't drunk, he was one of the names. I never forget him, Mr. LeMaster. And that's why I named my son after him. Right? He was just a great guy. But that alcohol do something to it, brother. Anyway, 860-1440, I'm here. Want to talk about it? Tell you about our little meet yesterday. Good morning on there. I'm doing fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now you make sure, make sure that you send that text that number to me, and I'll put it on a few more times, just in case somebody didn't get it, didn't have a pencil with it. So just text it to me. Okay, appreciate it. But what's my number here? 901-5022. Yeah. Okay, appreciate it. Good morning. Who's this? I'm doing fine. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have no doubt Trump would be a better president as far as the safety of this nation is concerned. We've already seen what they do, and we got people coming across the border killing our folks. MS-13 people. I'm just not. There's no question. We would be a safer nation under Trump. Mm-hmm. This is a difficult one because Shamari Figures is not a weirdo. I mean, he's a smart guy, and he's more of in my mind, a middle of the road kind of guy. I think he'll vote his conscience, and not his party. Caroline, she'll be here at 9 o'clock. I really haven't had an opportunity to talk to her. I'll talk to her today, and we'll see. But I mean, he's a Democrat, but he's not a weird Democrat, you know. So I don't know at the moment. Hmm. Well, listen. You can't take politics out of politics. I mean, you can't remove it. Like yesterday, it was all about fear and intrepidation. It was all about scaring the hell out of black folks in order to vote for Democrats. And I still don't understand what the party, what the plank is. But Hakeem Jeffries yesterday said that white people have never, no Republican has ever did anything for black people. That's an out and out bald faced lie. If it wasn't for Trump, a lot of people who were in prison for dope for years and years and years on their sentence would still be there. If it wasn't for Trump, he gave a lot. Talladega University here, it was an HBCU. They gave money to. As a matter of fact, they also went to Trump's inauguration. So I gave him $100 million back when he was in. I mean, they just lied. They just lied. But they want to scare the hell out you. Oh, you're gonna be back and oh yeah, yesterday the thought was, well, he don't like you. Well, hey, ask him to like me. But tell me what he said about black people. Tell me what the man has said about black folks, except what you got to lose. So, I mean, yeah, yeah. Appreciate it. I mean, if you're gonna make statements like that, give me something I can put my mouth on to. Wrong verbiage. Give me something give me something I can put my hands around, put my arms around. Give me something. Just don't make allegations. Just tell me what you're talking about. I'm not going back to the 1970s. Okay, that's 50 years ago. 50 years ago, I was 17. Okay, I'm not the same person then that I am now. I don't really, give me something to put in my mouth. I can put my teeth in. Just don't make the allegation. 50 years, none of us who were alive 50 years ago is the same person now that we were then. So I don't care what he did in the 70s. I don't care if his daddy didn't want black folks to live in the building. Hell, some of the houses that have been rented in this town, and when you go into them, you understand sometimes why the people feel that way. Okay, I mean, these people are tearing up people's houses. Okay, because if it ain't yours, you don't care much about it. But now, and white folks are tearing up trailers, so we even. Poor folks have a propensity to tear stuff up. We just do. I did say we because I took a cover myself. I changed since then though. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Okay, give me an example. Yes. Oh, I had they kind of pushed me away. Wait. Yeah. Well, listen, they had the Secret Service. Wait a minute now. We had the Secret Service out there, and if I'd have got in an argument with that guy, they would just escorted. They would have just escorted me off the venue. Okay, so yeah, okay, bro, yeah, yes. Democrats don't know how they don't understand tact. Yeah, leave me alone. That's right. And I oh wait a minute. To prove my point, I tried to have a conversation with Sewell, and all they did was walk. Yes, I did. Oh, okay. He was He was guarded. Yeah, yeah, brother. Yeah. Who? I don't care about. Wait a minute. I don't care about international. I care about us. Yeah. Right. First of all, okay. Well, first, okay. First of all, well, now, first of all, his priority, his number one priority, is to protect America. I don't care about the Paris Accords. I don't care about the climate change crap they keep putting on it. His number one priority is us, not what they say. Yeah. We ain't talking about World War II right now. We talking about right now.
I found this on the web.
Because he's not trying to be an international president. Absolutely. By the man was. Listen, listen, I'm not, you know, okay, wait, right, okay, and you and I know you and I won't agree. So why do we even have the conversation? We won't agree. No, I'm not scared. But sometimes when you talk it, wait, when you talk to a brick, the brick won't answer. Again, Tom, I gotta go. You when you talk to a brick, the brick's never gonna answer you. Okay, they're just gonna sit there. But anyway, listen. Yesterday's press conference, I knew that I was outnumbered 25-1. Okay, when it came to that discussion yesterday. Okay, it was not the right place or the right time. Now, if I'd have known they was going over to Heritage Barbershop when they left, I'd have went over there. But I didn't know because they keep that information from a brother. See, but had I known that, I'd have brought it up over there. But at a press conference with the Secret Service and everybody around, all they're gonna do is think I'm some sort of weirdo. Okay, I'm out there by myself on an island by myself with an ideological island by myself. So it didn't make no sense to get in an argument with the minority leader of the Speaker of the House of the United States. Okay? They thought I was crazy as hell. Next thing, and I'm right over here next to the Secret Service. I'm right over here next to U.S. Marshal. Next thing I know, my arms would have been behind my back, and then they took me upstairs. Okay, so listen, Mama didn't raise no fools. But had I known they was going to the barbershop, I'd have went over there. But I mean, you can't not make people think differently than they want to think. But they were telling some lies yesterday at this press conference, and they always do. They lie. I'm not saying Republicans don't lie. They lie too. But it seems to me the only argument that Democrats have about black folks not voting Republican is because this threat of being put back in shackles, this illogical, intellectually dishonest scare tactic. He's gonna, next thing you know, you're gonna be picking cotton. Really? We can't even get people to pick cotton now with money. You actually think I'm gonna pick cotton for free? Man, you sound like a damn fool. So anyway, but that's the only thing they have most of the time. That's it. Just threat, making black folks feel like we finna go back to the slave land. Okay, we can't even get the police to go in certain, and they got guns to go in certain communities in the United States of America. I don't think anybody can be working on a plantation anytime soon. But that's just me. I say, give me policy, give me something that you're going to do that you can help do directly. It's always trying to scare the hell out of black folks with this race thing. Oh, Trump, well, you know, if Trump think about you, well, then tell me what Trump thinks about me. Give me the audio where he said something about black folks. Hell, he said something about everybody. Okay, which I don't, and like people say, it ain't what they call you, it's what you answer to. And I'm saying that I'm listening to the speaker, the minority speaker of the House yesterday, the United States House of Representatives, okay, trying to scare the hell out of black folks. Oh, if you vote for him, you know they're gonna have the change ready. They're gonna put you in there. You won't make no money. Really? When does anybody know what unearned income is? Does anybody know what that is? That's income that potentially you have access to. Did you know Kamala Harris? So you know this. And if I'm not explaining this right, somebody please call her. Kamala Harris wants to tax you on what your house is worth. Okay? Not what it is sold for. She wants to tax you now. If you live in a house that you paid $85,000 for, it is now worth $150,000. They want to tax, it is now worth, according to the appraisers, $150,000. They want to tax you on, okay, what they say the worth is. Unearned income, I think that's what they call it. So basically, you'll never see the money, but they want to tax you on it, the potential earnings that you're going to get if you sell your house. Now you've never seen the money yet. You haven't seen it, but they want to tax you on it. That's the Democrats for you. Good morning. Who's this? Good morning. Not only his, not only his. You don't think that taking money from your pocket that you'll never see that's not a scare tactic. That's a fact, right? It's a fact. That it's a fact, though. Oh, right. But that's what she has said that in her speeches. They want to do that. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. That was my stupidity. That was my stupidity for a while. Yeah. 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 Ain't gonna hurt you. Right. So no, 70 actually. Well, I looked at my right. And I went on VA site the other day, and they got something down there that I've never known that I even had. They found something on my back. I said, well, I just thought I was getting old. I just thought I was getting old. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. We'll be back.
.40 all day. Depend on it. If you're struggling with ED or your performance is running and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act. At Montgomery Men's Health, we're not just healthcare.
Somebody loves somebody in a long time.
Every moment you delay, your condition could
Make me feel
It's not
at
just about
home.
sex, it's about your heart,
Oh,
your
I'm
relationship, your life. Montgomery Men's Health has years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited. Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who walked out of our doors with a swagger. Call Montgomery Men's Health at 334-440-3663 or visit montgomerymenshealth.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now. Dial 334-440-3663 or visit montgomerymenshealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health, making it happen.
Donald Trump endorses Congressman Gary Palmer, saying, Gary Palmer has my complete and total endorsement. Donald Trump says Gary Palmer is working hard to advance our America First agenda in Congress. Donald Trump says Gary Palmer is fighting to secure the border, strengthen our military, lower your taxes, defend our Second Amendment, and make America energy independent. On November 5th, vote for Donald Trump's candidate for Congress, Gary Palmer.
I'm Gary Palmer, and I approve this ad.
Donald Trump endorses Congressman Gary Palmer, saying, Gary Palmer has my complete and total endorsement. Donald Trump says Gary Palmer is working hard to advance our America First agenda in Congress. Donald Trump says Gary Palmer is fighting to secure the border, strengthen our military, lower your taxes, defend our Second Amendment, and make America energy independent. On November 5th, vote for Donald Trump's candidate for Congress, Gary Palmer.
I'm Gary Palmer, and I approve this ad.
Half of Alabama residents use a septic tank. Are you one of them? Septic tanks are used where municipal sewers are not available, and maintenance is important. Failing septic tank systems can endanger your family, pollute the environment, and be expensive to repair. So know the warning signs. Wet spots in your yard, slow drain in toilets or drains, gurgling sounds in drains, and sewage odors. You can prevent your system from failing by having your tank pumped every 3 to 5 years. Keep a separate container for grease and dispose of it properly. Use detergents low in phosphate and spread laundry loads over several days as to not overload the system with too much water. You need a permit before installing a new system or before repairing an existing one. Your local health department has a copy of the septic tank system permit that indicates the location of your system and the size of the tank.
This is State Health Officer Dr. Scott Harris. For more information, visit our website, www.alabamapublichealth.gov. Gov.
My job, finances, everything's so crazy. I just want to feel in control. With Sam, I can.
Sam is Smart About Money, a free online resource from the nonprofit National Endowment for Financial Education. Get empowered. Reach your financial goals. Visit samican.org.
Join Kevin Elkins for Decisions. News Radio 1440. Depend on it.
And the time on the clock says it is 8:32 in the morning. One thing I figured out about this, I think we all just will have to agree that everybody's not going to agree on. I mean, hey, I say go out and vote for whomever you want to vote for. Just remember, we get the government we vote for. Because your candidate, whether it's Trump, whether it's Harris, won't just affect you and them; it'll affect all of us. So I ain't mad at you. Oh, what I was trying to tell you, but I got the name wrong. But it is called an unrealized gains. Unrealized gain. We want to tax you on money that you don't have that you might get. Woo! That's a tax plan for you. Let me see who's next. Good morning. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, I've called down to the revenue department. I said, how in the world I'm living in the same house, same neighborhood. I ain't put nothing on it. How can my house be worth more? I mean, yeah. Uh-huh. Well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what you gotta. But let's make sure we get this straight. Nobody blames anybody for coming over here trying to get a better life. That's not where the blame lies. Hell, I be coming over here too. The blame lies with the people who are responsible for making sure this country's borders are safe. You just hear about the one just happened in Virginia? Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matter of fact, and we also did it in Afghanistan. Yeah, we also did it in Afghanistan. Right. But these are the people who helped us, though. These are the people so that they say helped us. Yeah, but I don't know. I wasn't there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. But again, I don't blame the people that's coming because if I'm in Mexico, if I'm in some Venezuela, I'm coming to the United States as quick as I can get here. I hear you. Yeah, okay. But again, Trump didn't come up with the system that allowed people to come in here. They, I think well. First of all, presidents don't pass law. Okay. Well, they listen. They hated Trump. Most of them hated Trump more than hated Democrats. Well, I'm not. Again, I still and no. We can close that. We can close that sucker up. Yes. And therein lies our problem. And therein lies our problem right there. Hey, appreciate it. They won't do what they know to do. That's right. Good morning. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, go ahead, because I don't have a clue what you're talking about. I know what AI is, right? But I thought I could have sworn I was talking about something more important, right? I'd rather get along, right? I'd rather get along with the people than send our young men and women, my son, your son, anybody's kids, to fight them. I'm ready to fight, but I'd rather talk. Yeah. Over where? In Syria? Where? Where? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we don't know. Appreciate. We don't know if that's his cocaine. Now we don't know. Good morning. Yes. Yes. I couldn't hear what you said. Something about your grandson went to somebody's house. Mm. Mm. Right. Right. Absolutely. I think you did the right thing. They'll respect you for that. And your child at some point, your grandchild, he'll respect you for that. Hopefully, he'll do the same thing with his kids when he gets up. Yeah. But that well wait a minute. But that guy don't work for Trump. You know, wait a minute. But right now, listen. I think. Let me ask you a question. I think I agree. I think the former president should have came out and said, "Hey, that guy don't work for me." But you know what they're gonna say when he does that? You know what he's gonna say when he? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. You just don't. You can't win. I think he did. I think he did the right thing though, because Because what's going to happen the minute he said something about it, people say, "Yeah, listen, I've been in this game a lot. It may be the right thing, but is it the most pragmatic thing to do? No, because you know what they're going to say. Well, why? Wait, listen. What he's going to say, what they're going to say, right? But what they're going to say, I've been in this business for a long time. If he apologizes, somebody's going to say, well, you know what he was when you got him here. You know him all the time. He cannot win in that situation. Yeah, it does matter. It does matter. It does matter. Yeah. When it comes to politics, it's not the same rules. I'm not defending him. I know the process. Okay. No, that's not true. I know the process. Appreciate it. Even if he gets on the airwaves of America and says, listen, I apologize for what that guy said. What CNN will hear, I apologize for my man coming up here saying that. Okay. What other people will hear, well, then why was he there? Trump probably don't know that guy from Adam's Cat House. So I think he did the right thing to shut up about it. Just let it go. Now what Trump should do is get on whoever hired that son of a gun and fire them. Okay, that's who should be fired. You want to use a fire, but now I've been in this game a long time. There's nothing he can say that somebody won't turn around and blame him. We'll be back. Take a last break. We'll be back.
USFA First Alert Weather Forecast on News Radio 1440.
Sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. PureTalk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on America's most dependable 5G network. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month with PureTalk.
Temperatures warm up mid to low 80s today with a bit of a south breeze. 1 or 2 showers are possible. Most will stay dry. As we move into tonight, lows will hover in the 60s with a partly cloudy sky. Both Saturday and Sunday feature a mix of sun and clouds with highs in the mid 80s and overnight lows in the 60s. And that's your First Alert forecast. I'm WSFA meteorologist Nick Gunter on News Radio 1440.
Montgomery Skywatch traffic brought to you by Sons Automotive, family owned, family driven on News Radio 1440.
Hello, Montgomery. Right now, things are looking good. Nothing's being reported by the authorities that would send anyone on an alternate route. You keep listening, and we'll keep you posted. Fall is here at Midtown Plaza. Shop Verizon, then eat at Hunan Garden or American Deli or Yummy Yaki. Midtown Plaza and Street off of I-85, another great McClinton and Company development. Buckle up, it's the law. For Montgomery Skywatch traffic, this is Major Delay.
Septic tanks are used where municipal sewers are not available, and maintenance is important. Failing septic tank systems can endanger your family, pollute the environment, and can be expensive to repair. You can prevent your system from failing by having your tank pumped every 3 to 5 years, keep a separate container for grease and dispose of it properly, use detergents low in phosphates, and spread laundry over several days as to not overload the system with too much water. This message brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and this station.
Sam, put your shoes on. We're headed to the doctor in 10 minutes. Okay, Mom. Hey, am I going to get a shot? Yes, it's time for your yearly vaccines. We have to make sure all your vaccines are up to date before you start back to school. You know, I have to provide a record with the day and year you got the vaccine to the school. Okay, but Mom, how many more years do I have to get these shots? At least until college.
Alabama law requires children of all ages to be up to date on their immunizations before attending school. Every child needs to be vaccinated against polio, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, also known as whooping cough, measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox.
This is State Health Officer Dr. Scott Harris. For more information, visit our website, www.alabamapublichealth.gov.
This message brought to you by the Alabama Department of Public Health and this station.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, So I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Place with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Food additives can harm children's development and raise the risk of obesity. To lower the risks, choose fresh fruits and vegetables when you can and avoid processed meats. Don't put plastic in the microwave because heat glue has chemicals to leak into your food. When cooking or serving hot foods, use glass or ceramic dishes. For more on keeping your child healthy, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
I got smart about mortgages, smart about college.
When it comes to your money, whatever you want to get smart about, you can find it at smartaboutmoney.org, a free online resource from the nonprofit National Endowment for Financial Education. Smartaboutmoney.org, the easy place to start when you want to get smart.
My job, finances, everything's so crazy. I just want to be in control. With Sam, I can.
Sam is Smart About Money, a free online resource from the nonprofit National Endowment for Financial Education. Get empowered. Reach your financial goals. Visit samican.org.
While on your way to work tomorrow morning, join Kevin Elkins on it.
And we're back. Before we get involved in any more political speak at the moment, y'all got me also discombobulated. I forgot to do the Student of the Week thing here. So, just for you guys, the Student of the Week, there were 3 people involved in the Student of the Week thing this week. We got, let's see, let me make sure I pronounce his name correctly. You True, I believe, from Success Unlimited. Gabriel West from Loveless Academic Magnet Program High School, and Andrell McMath, Booker T. Washington, with a great percentage of the vote. The winner of this week's Student of the Week is, let me see now, where's it at? Okay. Now I know I had it. Oh, Andrell McMath from Booker T. Washington High School. Congratulations to him. Also, congratulations to the other 2, Hugh True, as well as Gabriel West, Loveless Academic Magnet Program. But Mr. Andrell McMath, that ain't a magnet school name. I don't know what it is. McMath from Booker T. Washington is this week's Student of the Week. And he attends the Booker T. Washington School of Law and Magnet. Okay, they said a lot of great things about him. Y'all keep an eye on this guy. You may need him as a lawyer one day. Okay, I'm just saying you might want to keep an eye on. Remember that name. I doubt there are very many people in the city of Montgomery or the state of Alabama named McMath, MacMath. Not too many people with that name. Okay? As a matter of fact, this is the first time I ever heard anybody with that name, and I've heard a lot of names over the years. Andrell McMath from Booker T. Washington. We congratulate you on a job well done. But we also we are going to hear true. We want to give them some props too, along with Gabriel West of Loveless Academic Magnet Program. I gotta give the name. Anyway, let's go back to the phone and see who is there. Good morning. Hello. Yes. Right. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's a truism. That's what she wants to do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you would. Yeah, I think you would. Yeah. Well, now there are a lot of things in my medical records that they didn't. Listen, I just, I did it 8 times in one day. Yeah, it's a Chinook. No, the riggers were already there. I don't know why. Why am I? Wait a minute. Why am I talking to a guy who's never? Wait a minute. Why am I talking to a guy who's never jumped out of an airplane? Why am I insulting why am I insulting myself with this? See you later, man. I shouldn't even talk to a lady thing in the morning. 8:53 in the morning. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Sorry about that. Yeah, yeah, I know. I think he's jealous. Yeah, it is. It is. There's not too many people who have, at least not proportionally to the people that are in service. We are elite group of we are an elite group of guys. You know, that's just what it is. Yeah. Right, but I would have fired the guy. I would have fired the guy or strongly reprimanded the person that brought him. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I, yeah. I got you. Yeah. Hey, appreciate it. Oh, I just looked up the statistic that I know why religion now is is just okay. It is a very small percentage of American soldiers that are paratroopers. Typically, less than 5% of the soldiers in the United States military jump out of an airplane, okay, of the total military force. And only a select, remember that word, curmudgeon, only a select few units within the Army specialize in airborne operations, meaning most soldiers do not undergo parachute training because they don't have what it takes. I ain't mad at you. Okay? You're one of those. Good morning. Well, at least Trump didn't want to open the back door and let everybody come in. So, Sure, well, and I'm not against people for saying dumb things. I say dumb things all the time. And so did they. Yeah, I know you do. I know you agree. I mean, listen, just because you become president of the United States, the one thing I do like about Trump is he's a regular guy with money. But he's a regular guy. He says dumb things like I do. He's made mistakes like I have. He'll probably make a few more. I like he ain't acting like he's perfect. He's not, because he's not. But again, like I always say, we live in a country of imperfect people who want to judge other imperfect people. I don't get on people, but I do think, like I do on my Facebook page, I got a discussion group called Decision. I tell them that it's okay to disagree with people's beliefs, their philosophy, the public words that they have uttered, but you don't have a right to go after them personal. Okay, we all got some trash in our garbage can, so I just don't do that. I just don't go after people for making mistakes. Okay, imperfect people, we're trying to judge other imperfect people. That, to me, that is the word dichotomy. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back. Let me see if Miss Coraline gets here. And I else will continue to talk about what we've been talking about, which is, I can't remember now. My mind is so scrambled at the moment. Like that. We'll be back.
News Radio 1440.
Good morning, I'm Jasmine Williams of WSFA 12 News. Here's what's happening this Friday. November is here and things are heating up as we get closer to Election Day. In Alabama, all eyes are on the newly redrawn Congressional District 2 seat. Democrat Shamari Figures and Republican Caroline Dobson on the ballot for this race. We will interview both of them today on WSFA, starting at 11 on Alabama Live. The search is officially on for Montgomery Public Schools' next superintendent, and this week the Montgomery Chamber hosted a State of the Schools address focusing on education and moving forward. This all comes after Dr. Melvin Brown announced he was stepping down as the head of MPS, citing issues with the school board. A familiar face in Montgomery County's District Attorney's Office was promoted to the top job, with MKI appointed Azzy Oliver as the next DA. Previously served in the office of Chief Deputy and was recommended for the job by retiring DA Daryl Bailey. I'm Jasmine Williams of Your Morning Headline.
WLWY-AM is News Radio 1440, also heard on 95.1 HD3 FM in Montgomery, a cumulative news station. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Peter King. Former President Trump has turned up the heat on a political enemy, suggesting she be put in the line of fire. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Phoenix.
Campaigning in Arizona, former President Donald Trump hurled insults at a number of politicians and directed this violent rhetoric at former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Cheney's response on X, quote, "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death." Correspondent Nancy Cordes is with the Harris campaign.
Vice President Harris has not reacted publicly to his comments yet. We do anticipate that she will do so today. She's holding several events here in Wisconsin. In fact, she's going to be doing a rally just a few miles down the road from where Trump is holding an event today here in Milwaukee.
Texas hospitals are now required to report on illegal migrants they treat. Report for stops in Austin.
Public hospitals in Texas now legally required to ask patients if they're U.S. citizens and whether they're in the country illegally. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issuing the executive order in August, saying Texans should not have to shoulder the burden of financially supporting medical care for those here illegally. Rice University political scientist Mark Jones says it's also a way for Abbott to campaign for former President Donald Trump, who he endorsed.
Abbott's primary goal is to shift the spotlight back to the issue of illegal immigration, which is a winning issue for Republicans.
It's a lackluster lackluster jobs report for October. The Labor Department says employers added just 12,000 new jobs. Mass Mutual Wealth Management's Dakin Vanderbilt says blame Mother Nature and labor unrest.
The context really matters. First and foremost, if you remember, these numbers are notorious as they could be. Second, we had two really large hurricanes and two really significant labor strikes in October. We estimate those to be something like 100,000 job hits.
A single death for the McDonald's E. coli outbreak is devastating to Debbie Fidel of Grand Junction, Colorado. It was her father, 88-year-old J.C. Smith, who got ill not once but twice.
I would hold his hand and pray and tell him just try to rest. Try to rest. We're here with you, and we're getting help for you.
Cycling while texting or intoxicated could put you in jail in Japan. CBS's Vicky Parker.
Within hours of the new law taking effect, Japanese police have already recorded 5 violations, including 2 men caught riding bicycles while drunk.
Early trading on Wall Street has the Dow up 310 points, the NASDAQ up 195. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck now. What I do?
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about weed charging coming out from the house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
I figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. I had to don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Exactly. Come see right there.
South Carolina prepares to execute a convicted killer despite pleas not to.
More than 20 people have asked the South Carolina governor to spare Richard Moore's life. That includes 2 jurors who convicted him, the judge who presided over Moore's trial, and a former director of the state prison system. The 59-year-old Moore is to be executed this evening, serving a convenience store from 1999.
This is definitely part of my life, Mr. Secretary, because it took a life.
No governor has offered clemency to any of the 44 inmates executed in South Carolina since the death penalty resumed in 1976.
What do you think of the death penalty? The Los Angeles Dodgers will have their World Series victory parade this afternoon. Fox Network may be holding its own parade after learning that Game 5 of the series attracted nearly 19 million viewers on all platforms, making it the most watched series game in 5 years. Peter King, CBS News.
I was a death penalty hog. Yeah, burn them. Yeah, that's the thing. I've seen it all, and they're in jail for 30 years. And all of a sudden, right at the last minute, which means they already had that information. So how if you can give people money for their time, but you can't bring people back if you kill them. You know? And even if you kill them, that doesn't help the families or anybody. It just I don't know. I understand why we use it. I understand why we use it, but it doesn't seem to be a determinant. So if I'm setting you time, you know, in prison. Now, if it was like 48 hours. We put the juice to you, that may be a deterrent.
There's just been so many cases where they, totally, like you said, the person did not do it, could have done it. Well, in Monroe County, where I'm from,
Donald Trump says very ominous plan to secure the border. Strengthen our military, lower your taxes, defend our respected amendments, and make America free to resist.
Well, you said here.
Perfect.
Yeah. Who's doing all talking? Okay. You can Yeah, you just sit in the corner over there. Okay, whoever.
Makes it easy.
I don't think so. You better call it.
Okay.
It's the Dan Bongino Show, weekdays from 11 to 2 on News Radio 1440. Your WSFA First Alert weather forecast on News Radio 1440.
When the mic's come on, you can hear that. Where you from, there, young man? Chicago. That's the best.
Grace is from Harvard, Alabama, which I'd never heard of.
Where are you from?
South Bend, Indiana.
Really? Are you a Notre Dame fan? Absolutely. Well, there you go. I never thought I could ever go to that school because my mother was born in Mississippi, and she was coming up. Right, and so I walked past Notre Dame every day, and I never one time thought about going there because my mother and I think parents have something to do with it. My mentality was like, I think parents are motivated. But I understood my mother's perspective because born in Mississippi in the 30s, that was logic. I had to go through. But I finally went to Hawaii.
Oh, really? Wow. University of Hawaii?
I'm But I went in, not as a typical student, I went in under the military program. When I was in, not being deployed, I went to school.
That's what my mom, she was a twin, and they were the first 2 days graduate from college, but she got to go to college because of the GI Bill. John Carson, back in the 60s, helped with legislation that allowed World War II GIs that were going to use their GI Bill to pass on.
You know, I was nursing my school here in Alabama, but since I didn't join the military in Alabama, they told me I can't take that benefit. And I said, well, when I was serving, the state was
Right. You weren't just fighting to protect
and I
Americans in Indiana.
I paid, I got at home 50 years, but I lived here for free.
I didn't.
That's a crazy thing. You have to wait out when you get shot at. It is what it is.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but I'm sure when I got here, it did.
New research is making it possible to detect.
But I don't know if college today is really, I just vocational college is. But going to school, taking up business administration with AI computers, you don't even have to be a CPA to get your book right. All you got to do is put it in the right number. And in the right category, you know.
Here. Well, so many kids have student debt that says a lie that colleges can open every door, and they go to college and they get a degree in mythology. They've got
Well,
student
here's
debt.
one, gender studies. If you go to college and you don't know the difference yet, you should just go. Like this thing's in high school, in Phillipsburg, and they're making more money than me, being electricians right now. Well, yeah, you can do that. And another thing about networking, my son just going to know that he's going to be a networking engineer, but there's always going to be a job. Follow your passion and remember your wallet.
It's a good way to put it.
At the end of the day, everything we do.
So where's your son right now?
He goes to school, my grandma goes to it. We call it lead. Now it's about first year. I was never worried about the lead of the school. I was worried about what came out of the school. Because everybody can have. I don't like the fact that they take a building that historical things. You can change their name on the things that make people call it. But it did. Anybody who wants to leave, win. And you can call it nothing else. But I say, if you want to do that, build a new school. So when you build new schools, then let the schools, some of those
Just
people.
keep the focus on funding
Yeah.
for the students and the teachers and how
He's
much
the
does
voice
all
of
this
the
bring?
conservative
Are about ready to start.
Show tonight at 8 p.m. on News Radio 1440 with Tim Dolan.
Now, before y'all get started, okay, I like old music. Okay?
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Because I'm old.
My dad's 80 and we're almost 80 and my mom is 71. So,
Okay, good. They love the friends too.
yeah.
860-1440 is our number. Our guest right now, better late than ever, okay, is not you.
Caroline Dobson. My grandmother was Oline from Old Texas, Alabama, and I was named after her. So, they tried to update it for the 80s when I was born, so Caroline instead of just Oline. So, I think my mom was nervous about me getting teased with that Dolly Parton song, Jolene. So I'm Caroline.
Well, we could have called you Kylie, Texas. Yeah. But either way it goes. Listen, tell the folks a little bit about who you are, what you stand for, why are you running this race, and you will be taking some calls, I guess, yes,
Great.
from people.
Oh, that was great.
Okay, I've been told not to protect you, so whatever comes out, you just got to deal with it, I guess, unless they're absolutely obnoxious. Okay.
Well, look, I'm running to represent everyone in this district, and I've spent time since I filed last November. That's been my mission, is to listen to people because I feel like more than anything right now, we just feel like there's some people that feel like they're not being heard. I feel like the politicians are just a separate class of people that reside in DC and never are listening and never take the time to be in their communities. And I grew up in a very small community, Beatrice, Alabama, North Monroe County, town of less than 200. I grew up there. I now live here in Montgomery with my husband and two daughters. I'm a real estate attorney and I serve on the Forestry Commission, but I've never been in politics. But I got in this race because I want to make life better for Alabama families. I see on a daily basis that so many Alabama families are struggling. The price of groceries has gone up almost 30% in the past 3.5 years. Energy costs have gone up 38%. The average family of four, like mine, we've got two daughters, we pay $950 a month more for just basic living costs than we were 3.5 years ago. There are too many good people in this district that are working hard and struggling not to able to make it. Share an example recently, was made aware of a food bank down in the southern part of this district. It's called Feeding the Gulf Coast. And one of their primary food bank recipients are active duty military families. And the fact that our military is not getting paid enough to provide for their families. That members of our military are food insecure in the wake of rising inflation and gas prices. Also the rise of crime too. To address that, we've got to address it of course, the fentanyl crisis. So I'm running to bring some common sense to Washington, to bring some Alabama hard work, grit, and ingenuity, and try to make life better for the families.
Either one of you guys are good at math. Okay.
There's a reason I'm into law school.
Okay. Well, let me ask them. There are 435 members of the House. I don't know what percentage. Anybody can tell me what percentage one is of 435? Is that like
5%, I guess?
Well, the reason I bring that up is that because there are 435 members, if you should be so blessed as to get there, you will be insignificant as one person. So tell me, what is your strategy to get anything done at less than 1% of 435?
Well, that it starts with one though. I am just one, but I am one, and it's important that every single member of Congress really recognize the responsibility that they have and where their power comes from, where their authority comes from. And it comes from the people. Back at the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with rights. So our rights come from our Creator, and then our government's power comes from the people, you and I, and every citizen in this country. And so I think we've gotten to a point where we have too many Washington insiders, like my opponent, who think that they have some special insight because they've just spent a lot of time in Washington. Whereas what we really need is to get back to the basics and recognize that, my role as a federal congressperson is to represent everyone in this district. And that's how our Constitution was created. Originally, senators were elected by state legislatures.
Right.
But your congressman or woman was elected by the people. And so, for me, it is, I'm going to be a tireless advocate for what the people of this district want and need. And that's what I've tried to do over the campaign trail. Because I think we've allowed Washington insiders to make a lot of issues partisan that shouldn't be. We should all want secure borders and a safe country and a better economy.
Every morning I play one of the excerpts from our daily bread. And yesterday's daily bread was render unto Jesus, when they were asked about taxation. Jesus said, give me one of those coins there. And he looked at the coin and he said, whose face is it? He said, well, Caesar. So he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. And the reason I bring that up is that although I appreciate your belief system, things of that nature, but in Washington, that's Caesar. So how is one person, there's an answer to this question, how is one person going to make a difference, especially a new person? How are you going to make yourself important enough for them to listen to you?
Well, I think it's all going to come down to who's willing to go up there and work, and actually work across party lines as well. And that's what, my background, I'm a real estate attorney. I'm not a litigator. There are no TV shows that are made about real estate attorneys because
it's boring.
Well, but it's also important. People use a real estate attorney. They're either they're leasing an apartment, or they're buying some to farm, or they inherited a small business they're trying to sell. So it really touches everyone. It helps keep our economy going. But at the end of the day, the goal of my profession is to get deals done, to negotiate and to work with the other side to try to isolate the real deal killers from my side, but otherwise find some way that we can compromise on the other issues. And certainly there have been some times when I've had a client that said, we just need to get this deal done, the other side's being unreasonable, and this is going to hurt your interest. But 98% of the time, I only get paid if we get a deal done, and so and also that's what the client wants, that's what the other side wants, and so I think we need to have more collaborative approaches, and I think that all kind of stems back to being good stewards of what God's given us. And
now you're going to get questions from me you haven't got from anybody. The advantage of getting older is that I have heard it all, been there, done that, and waiting for it to come back again.
Wisdom.
Yeah, right. So you are the king of the House of Representatives right now. I'm putting that vote. There's a vote on what you think is the most important thing in there. First of all, if you could pass this, whatever this is, and you're the vote maker, tell me what the most important thing to you is right now. If you were in the Congress right now and it came before you and you were the last vote, what would you pass?
Well, we've got to secure our borders, and that is incredibly important, not just to the safety of our communities, but we have got to stop the fentanyl crisis. It is killing too many young people in this country. We lost 100,000 Americans to fentanyl overdose last year.
80 to 90% of fentanyl precursors are manufactured in China. Most of those are coming across our southern border because they cannot be legally imported, and it's putting such a strain on our resources as well. And we saw what happened after Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton. New York is saying, "Oh, we don't have any money." Well, I wonder why. Because that administration has spent $1.4 billion on non-citizens to the detriment of American citizens who've lost everything.
So would you close the border?
We need to secure the border, and so we have got to, build a barrier. We've got to enforce the Stay in Mexico policy. Of course.
I think the president just did that the other day.
Yeah,
I think he's a couple of days before an election. He
decided to, and then said, "Oh, border crossings are down." Imagine that. But we've got to take care of our own. And there's some real needs in this very district that we're not getting federal funding for because we're spending it on people that just walked across the border. Many of which, ICE released data showing that 662,000 individuals with known criminal histories have come across our southern border. And we have got to do a better job of taking care of Americans. But right up there with securing our border is also unleashing American energy independence. By the same token, we have communities in this very district that don't have access to reliable and affordable energy. And God has given us so many sources of energy, renewable and non-renewable. It's like in the New Testament, the parable of the master who leaves the talent with his servant. He don't want the servant to spend all the money, but he also didn't want the servant to just bury the money himself.
Let me ask another question. What do you agree with Democrats on? And I'm asking that for a reason.
Yeah, no. That's a good question. No, I think when you say Democrats, that kind of begs the question. Both my grandparents were Democrats; they were veterans.
Okay, outside your grandparents.
So, no. But I'm saying, I'm spending time in this district. There are a lot of Democrats that we do agree. We do agree on.
Give me something you
agree. I would say that making sure that our veterans get better access to the services that they need. That we do spend money on much needed infrastructure projects throughout this district. And by infrastructure, I mean real infrastructure projects, not defining everything under the sun, pet far left ideological projects as infrastructure, but roads and bridges. But I think the problem is that what is a Democrat in Alabama is very different from what's a Democrat in Washington when it comes to ideology. It used to be, that we, some folks believed in more government, believed in less government, but did believe in this country.
Let's take a couple calls for you, and I think you'll figure out why I asked you that all by yourself. I don't maybe ask you that question. I know it's a shock, but good morning, y'all there with Miss Caroline.
Caroline. Good morning. How are you?
Okay, no, we ain't trying to make a start of you. Just ask the question.
I've enjoyed being on Joey's show. Yes, sir.
You got a minute because I don't have time to hear your resume.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me what your question is, because I gotta go. What is the question? You can't give a speech.
Yes.
Tell me what your question is.
What am I going to do for healthcare?
Okay, thank you very much. What are you going to do for healthcare? I don't, guys. We only got a little time.
No, thank you so much for your question, and certainly as a native of Monroe County, I'm very concerned about the closing of the maternity ward, and I'm going to fight to restore that. Part of the reason that our hospitals have been struggling is because they've had to deal with an influx of migrants. So that's, in securing the border, that will certainly help alleviate the burden on our hospitals throughout the district. But we, yes, absolutely have to have funding for our rural hospitals and for hospitals here in Montgomery. Jackson Hospital is also facing a lot of pressure, but we can't expect young people to want to move back to Monroe County. We can't expect businesses to want to locate to Monroe County unless we have access to medical services. And I will make it my mission to fight to restore maternal care in Monroe County. We also have to have a strong economy in these areas because strong healthcare is built on a strong economy. You know, the question of Medicaid expansion is one for the state legislature. But I will fight for funding and for designations. You know, the designation of critical access hospital is available to certain hospitals in this district. Barber County is one, and but they're not getting the funding that they need through that designation. So I'll fight to make sure that that funding is actually getting to our hospitals.
Good. Good morning on air.
Good morning. Well, thank you. I'm not sure about the breakdown of those numbers. I do know in the March 5th primary, the difference between total Democrats that voted for all the Democrat candidates and total Republicans that voted for, you know, all 8 Republican candidates in the primary, the total difference was 161 votes. So,
all right.
Appreciate your vote. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Good morning on air. All right.
No, thank you. Yes, so the numbers in that was the numbers in the primary. Numbers in the runoff were different, and I'm not sure that breakdown, but we can get that information to you. But so the problem with the immigration bill is that it really was more of an amnesty bill. It still allowed thousands of illegal immigrants to come across our border without vetting on a weekly basis.
4,000, I think.
Yes, yeah. Yes. And so you can guarantee that the cartels would have made sure that their drug runners were first in line there. But the real problem is that the Biden administration, Biden-Harris Figures administration, my opponent was part of this transition team, opened the border without a bill. They signed 84 executive orders that resulted in opening the border without a bill, without Congress even having to do anything, and they could close the border without a bill. We don't need a bill. Unfortunately, they're forcing this issue because they refuse to undo the mistake that they did. And what's significant also is that, you know, you've seen into the border and visited with Border Patrol, with local law enforcement, seen on the ground what a true humanitarian crisis it is. But what I saw also was sections of the border wall that were built under Clinton, under Bush, under Obama, under Trump. You know, to pretend, and then this administration, the Biden administration, wants to pretend that Trump was the first one to have a barrier. He wasn't. And so this administration took a significant turn in lack of enforcing the border. They've stopped building the wall. They stopped enforcing Mexico policy, and they sold off the components to making the wall for cents on the dollar. On top of that,
our numbers are 860-1440. Our guest today is
Caroline. You can come up with a nickname for me.
Okay, Caroline Dobson. She's running for Congress. Our numbers are 860-1440. You want to give us a call? Love to talk to you, whatever on your mind. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a whole lot of time. Well, we ain't got a whole lot of time. Anyway, just no speeches. Just ask her a question. Let her answer the question, and let's move on. Okay. You got a website. Yeah,
I do, Dobson for Congress. And I just want to everyone who's asked a question so far, thank you so much for listening and for asking your questions. And you can check out dobsonforcongress.com, and there's a field where you can fill out a form if you have more questions. We'd love to get to visit with you when we have more time. So please check out the website.
Okay. A couple of things coming up. I want to know what your thoughts are. When a person does this time in jail, whatever he is, shouldn't he automatically reinstate his his civil rights without having to go through the minutia of a court here, a court there, or board here. If he's already served his time, it's already done, why would you support getting him or her an opportunity? Just when you get out, it's automatically restored.
That's an interesting legislation, and I think we do need to recognize that we do have so many people that have been rehabilitated that want to contribute to our communities, and that also kind of begs the question too of the fact that there have so many people currently in our jails here in this district that aren't even criminals. They have mental health issues, and that results from a lack of avenues and facilities for treating our mentally ill. I was recently talking to Sheriff Birch down in Mobile. He said that the Mobile County Jail was designed to hold about 1,100 inmates. They currently have 1,500, so 400 over capacity. 20% of those inmates are on psychiatric medication. They're not criminals. There's just no facilities, no avenues for treating the mentally ill, and it's unfair to law enforcement too. Creates dangerous situations because our law enforcement often doesn't have mental health training. They don't know how to spot someone who is dangerous to the community versus someone who's having a schizophrenia.
Would you vote to decriminalize marijuana?
The issue of marijuana, we have got to get on the same page because right now we've got federal laws that are in contrast to our state
Some
laws.
states say you can have it, some states say you can't.
Right.
So would you support a bill decriminalizing it? It's crazy to make it feel, man. Cigarettes are more dangerous than marijuana, and we let people smoke them.
And what we've got to really focus on, what we should be focusing on in the country too when it comes to drugs is fentanyl, and to the really serious drugs that cause death, and that's just for law enforcement as well. When they're having to have to deal with and that's an area that is Matt Simpson recently from Baldwin County proposed a bill. Again, she was in partisan at all, just to say that if you are trafficking fentanyl, you're going to jail because it's something that we can significantly limit by security.
Yeah. So we do decriminalize it.
I think we need to talk about making sure that our country is on the same page. As a farmer and as an ag producer, I think there are a lot of opportunities in this district when it comes to growing marijuana. And I think that presents a huge opportunity in this district.
Listen, I'm just going to say you have been well trained. We'll be back right after this. One of those questions you know how to deal with. Now, the reason I asked you about what things you agree with Democrats on, because you said you want a nonpartisan approach to things. But the only way to get a nonpartisan approach to things is to be real. You don't have to agree with them, Simon Guns, but you gotta work with.
No, well, I mean, the thing is, I agree with a lot of Alabama Democrats. If I were running against Anthony Daniels, I think there's be a lot of things we agree on.
And it's funny, you got a business and you have to pay the taxes. You got to write your name on the front of the front of the check and not the back of the check. Yeah, it changes your perspective on a lot of things.
But so Alabama Democrats, there are a lot of agree on. I mean, more world.
It's those are the Democrats. Here is the biggest secret that Americans don't know. You are not a Democrat or a Republican because you vote for it. Democrats and Republicans are private parties. And when they say vote for a Democrat, they're not lying. Vote for a Republican, they're not lying. If they vote for you, it's a vote for them.
Yeah, that's true. Well, very few people fit in the box to be the party. I mean, people are nuanced. You have life experiences that make you feel differently on different issues.
So we're voting for a party and the leadership of that party, and not that party doesn't look out for you. That party looks out for the community. Which no problem with that. But people who vote think that somehow they're important to the community. You're not. Nobody's ever sent me a letter saying, hey, what do you think of this bill before we vote? Only reason why they do listen to me is being worse off.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I got two. One
Okay, your son, right? Your son.
and I got one who moved to Colorado. Colorado. You know, I'm like, that way, anytime you come back from my house, the first. And I see his name can go in college. Man, I just to get it actually $62. What's he doing for our spring? We have to I saw him on TV one day. For years, you heard me talk.
So does sports photography?
I guess it's a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
Heavily invested in college camping to deliver an inexpensive long-term program. What you may not know is we have a.
But you know, the one thing that urges me to be Republican, I'm not a Republican or Democrat, but I do lean to the right, as you can probably tell. But such wolves. I mean, everybody's being scared of being called racist, so they don't do anything. Let them call you what they want to. You know in your heart what you are. Prove them. Stand up for something.
We've got to go on offense.
Yes, stand up for something.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't, you're like a wagon with a ball in it. You make a hell of a lot of noise, but you ain't doing nothing. And the Republicans, it's like demanalize, whatever the word is. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what they just nobody wants to fight anymore. Lord Barron, who was here, knocked the hell out of somebody. I was so glad to see that, and it was good. Believe in it enough that if you have to put your life and safety on the line, then that's the guy I want to follow. Yeah. Soldiers do it, but I'm butt on the line. Radio on this in the city, and the only parity in the state. Yeah, I gotta remind you. You see miracles all the time. But now, I can see that. That's where as great as children's hospitals are, I joined because I needed the job. I stayed because I understood them.
Join Sean Hannity Sundays at 3 p.m.
How about you, young man? Ready, Joe? Chinese story. It is everybody. Our numbers are 860-1440. Want to give us a call? I guess it's
Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline Dobson. Okay, I will not miss that thing.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning on air. Thanks for holding. Yes. All right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you have a great weekend.
Good morning on air. 860-1440 is the number here. You want to talk to Caroline Dobson, who's running for Congress in 2nd Congressional. Good morning.
Yes, no, and I mean, I have to look to with admiration to Senator Brett on this because she proposed a bill kind of along those lines called the Lake and Riley Act, which would have ensured that any illegal that was apprehended committing a crime was immediately deported, regardless of where they were in this country. And that's what I mean. That should be a nonpartisan thing. You know, someone that's here illegally, they've already broken the law of come here and then they're apprehended for committing a crime, they are deported immediately.
But if you deport them and they end up back over here, why would we deport them after we give them some time?
But then we're using taxpayer funds for jails, But I think if we deport them and we have a secure border, it's not likely that they come back. But yes, no, we've got to pass that law, and we've got to ensure that is enforced throughout the country, regardless of whether you're in South Alabama or in San Francisco. It becomes a matter of keeping our young people safe. Of course, like, as I mentioned, fentanyl, but it's also, for example, Lake Riley, Jocelyn, Missouri, in Texas. But here in this district, a young man in Sims, Alabama, earlier this year was killed by an illegal alien driving drunkenly. This illegal alien had already been apprehended for driving drunk about 3 years ago in 2021 and just released, not deported, not put behind bars. And the life of this 19-year-old precious young man because of this illegal alien. So we've got to get serious about this. Absolutely agree. Absolutely. And it also goes back to enforcing stay in Mexico too, because we wouldn't have to monitor these folks if they had to stay in Mexico until their hearing date as well. So we can definitely take immediate federal action to ensure that our citizens are protected. Today, again, I'm running to make life better for me and my family, and that means ensuring that we don't have more criminals that have come across our border roaming our streets without repercussion.
Good morning on air with Caroline Dobson. Good morning.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Hey, appreciate your call. We're having that rent discussion also. Yeah. Good morning. Who's this? Morning. I'm pretty good. You want to talk to Caroline? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what? I don't think anybody wants to stop people from coming here. What we say, there's a process by which you come. This is 2024, not 1776. But we got one now. But we got one now. We do have one now. We also used to do, well, we do. We said we made a system where you can come to America without cheating. Right. Well, anyway, yeah, I know. I lost my thing. I got
No, I mean, I definitely think we've got a huge backlog when it comes to people that are trying to come here the right way. There are people here in this district I've met that have family members that have been waiting for years, in some cases over a decade, to try to follow the process. And so that's over complicated. There's too much red tape there. And we need, I talked to a nursing home owner in rural South Alabama. They desperately need registered nurses. They have applied over the past 5 years for 60 different registered nurses from abroad, from abroad, who want to come here. People that want to come here, we need them. And over the past 5 years, they have gotten 3 through the system.
Really?
There is so much backlog. And meanwhile, our southern borders are flung open to not just people.
Well, maybe that's what Congress should work on is the process.
Right. To incentivize people
to come the right way.
Legally, because unfortunately, a lot of people coming across our southern border, you've got gang members, you've got drug runners, and then you also have people that are being trafficked across.
Coyotes, I think that's what they call
it.
Yeah.
Right. And they're taking advantage of people that, yes, I absolutely have empathy for. They want a better life for their family, but we've made the process of coming here legally so difficult. Same for our migrant worker programs. There are a lot of small businesses in this district that rely on migrant workers, and that process is so cumbersome as well.
The federal minimum wage is still $7.25. I mean, come on. My son won't work for that. So don't we need to do something about that?
Yeah, look, and again, that's another thing that is something that should be bipartisan, ensuring that American workers are getting the high-paying jobs that they deserve, and it boils down to having a strong economy. Because we have got the reality is in the past 3.5 years, the policies of this administration, the policies that my opponent helped put in place as part of this administration, have caused our dollar to go a third less far.
Would you support at least a $12 federal minimum wage?
Look, I'm all for working across the aisle to ensure that we have a minimum wage that allows people
to pay the rent at least.
To make ends meet, but we also at the same time have to get our inflation under control.
No, that's true.
Because those dollars aren't going as far as they did 3 years ago. When you look at Social Security, which I'm committed to fighting to ensure that we not only ensure that our seniors get the Social Security because they work hard for their whole life, but that those dollars go further. Because 90% of folks that receive Social Security, that's their primary source of income. I talked to a lady the other day, Vicki, down in Mobile. She gets $900 a month from Social Security. That is barely enough for her to pay for groceries and utilities.
Well, it's not enough.
It's not. It's not enough for her to live on. There's so many in her same boat. So we have got to get inflation under control. We can do that by stopping the reckless government spending a lot more wisely, stop spending on non-citizens.
But everybody says that. So everybody says that who's running for office. It's not your fault, but everybody says that, and then they get there. The guy you ran against, which is a friend of mine, said one of the problems with going to Congress or a state representative is that people tell you so often that your poop don't stink until you begin to believe it, and so you become enamored with who you are rather than what you went up there for. So you won't become enamored.
Well, I don't know if you met my husband, but he used to be really grounded. We were dating, and he said, "Well, I don't really like lawyers, but at least you're not politicians. I hate politicians."
But now you both.
But he's someone. But no. I mean, that's exactly why we don't need a Washington insider representing the country. That's exactly why we don't need someone whose entire campaign was funded with dark money from groups that he was supposed to be regulating when he was part of the Department of Justice. His campaign's been funded from money from California.
But now all campaigns need money.
That's right. But someone who's spent their entire adult career in Washington D.C. in the Obama administration and the Biden administration, the Department of Justice, they probably owe some political favors. And as opposed to, we need more real people in Washington to solve the real problem.
Oh, what more rumor did I heard? You're not a real rumor.
Not even remotely close. My
Okay.
opponent's worth 3 times what I am, but that's just an example of the lies he's been spreading. And if we lie to him this week, what one to lie about?
Take one more call. Good morning on air. Good morning. Morning.
65.
62. Well, it was 60.
Yeah, 62. I think it kind of depends on
what year you were born.
What year you're born.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what year you were born, but between 62 and 65.
Well, obviously, you're not making $7.25 an hour. Okay, well, that's good. And those are the kind of jobs that one thing that Trump did do that I appreciated was incentivize businesses to come back to the United States of America. Do you support that kind of program? I do.
Absolutely, and we see how this administration has driven businesses away. John Deere just announced they're shutting down 600 jobs. John Deere, which was such an American company, is leaving and the loss of 600 jobs, and that's just one story. I mean, the most recent jobs report came out. The Biden-Harris Figures administration was saying that there are going to be over 100,000 jobs created. There were 12,000. So we have got here in Alabama since 2001. Alabama has lost 42,000 manufacturing jobs. These are good-paying jobs with good benefits, with opportunities for mobility. And that's why I've been endorsed by Manufacturer Alabama, because they know that I'm going to fight for our manufacturer.
One thing. Can you guarantee me that you won't support people going to jail that's named John, getting out named Joan? At taxpayer expense.
Right. Oh, absolutely. But I can promise you my opponent would.
Well, I don't know. Let's take one more call. Good morning. I mean, if you ain't figured out what you are by now, jail's the wrong place.
And taxpayers certainly don't need anything money, for you to figure that out.
Good morning on there. Absolutely. But everything the Democratic Party has something to do with is either sexuality or race. I mean, that's where I was listening to Hakeem Jeffries yesterday, and it's trying to scare the hell out of people. You don't have to scare us. We're older now. We know what's actually going on and stuff like that. So I'm glad you didn't try to scare me and tell me stuff like that. Well, Ms. Colleen, I appreciate you coming up here and visiting. I'll give you the last minute of the show to tell people to make your case why they should vote for you.
Well, thank you, sir. And I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your voice of reason and common sense and courage, which is what we need more of in our media. But I got in this race not because I have a political career, not because my family as a political dynasty, we don't from a small town, grew up on a farm, and now live here in Montgomery, and I want to make life better for Alabama families, and we deserve better. We've got the best people in the world. We've got tremendous resources, but our kids deserve more opportunities. They deserve the chance to have an education that equips them for a high-paying 21st century job. They deserve safe streets to play on. I'm running against a Washington insider who, win or lose, on November 6th is going back to Washington, D.C. to live in his $1.5 million house right outside of D.C. But I am committed to ensuring that I spend every minute of my term as Congresswoman. When I'm not in D.C. voting, I'm going to be down here. My husband and I are raising our kids here in Montgomery, and I'm going to spend every minute listening to you, whether you live in Mobile or Montgomery or Midway or McIntosh. I'm going to make sure that you hear from me and that I listen to you. And so I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th. That's this Tuesday.
Yeah. Now, you're not player hating about the house, are you?
No, but if you keep a $1.5 million house in DC, I think the assumption is you're going back up to it.
But if you rent that same house and put it in Montgomery, you wouldn't be I wish I could live in a $1 million house.
But I think it's where your loyalty lies, where you consider home. Okay. If he wants to go to Washington, it's Washington. So I don't want to go to Washington, but I want to make Washington work for Alabama, because Alabama's not.
Well, I hope you can do that. I hope it's possible to do that. Now, don't forget about us down here.
No, sir. I would love to be on a regular basis. Okay. You can have me.
All right. Sure we will. But everybody says that before they win.
Well, I'm like David Allen, so hang around as long as you will let me.
Outstanding. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
Now.
Kevin Williams of WSFA 12 News. Here's what's happening.
Yes, for that marijuana. But you handled it well. You handled it. Nobody can say that you supported marijuana, and they can't say that you.
I don't know what the solution is, because I don't but I also don't think we should be a nation of stoners.
Yeah, I do too. But again, we sell alcohol. More people in hospitals today because of alcohol.
As a daughter of a recovered alcoholic, exactly. I agree. But I think we do have to have a better way of monitoring people driving stoned.
Yeah, for that. But then again, how much government do we want in our lives?
Well, to the extent it helps people off the road for driving erratically or whatever.
News Radio 1440 is WLWI and 95.1 833 FM of Montgomery. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
When Steve Kathan amped up campaign rhetoric, former President Trump uses violent imagery to attack one of his Republican critics, Liz Cheney.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained in her face.
CBS's Jake Rosen.
The Trump campaign was trying to make clear and kind of clean up this comment that it was in reference to Liz Cheney's policies on past U.S. wars and her general foreign policy views. Obviously, that being said, he was still suggesting that 9 guns be pointed in her face.
On social media, Cheney said, quote, "This is how dictators destroy free nations, threatening those who speak against them with death." CBS's Lilia Luciano covering the Harris campaign stop in Las Vegas.
There was a lot of talk about women's rights. I heard from women, Latina women, white women. We heard from Black women, all kind of really stressing the importance of protecting abortion rights.
Labor strikes and storms are blamed for a lackluster jobs report for October. The government says 12,000 were created. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
This report was plagued by hurricanes Helene and Milton. In addition to devastating wide swaths of the southeast, prior to the landfall of both storms, there were large-scale evacuations, which probably pushed down job creation dramatically in the area.
The unemployment rate holding steady at 4.1%. Striking Boeing machinists are set to vote Monday on a new contract offer from the company. Some strikers are not impressed.
They're going to get a no vote from me.
They've used legal mumbo jumbo, but no, it's the same offer as last time. Slightly.
The proposal calls for a 38% wage hike over 4 years and better bonuses. 2 people were killed, 6 wounded in a shooting at late-night Halloween festivities in Orlando. Police Chief Eric Smith says a 17-year-old male suspect is in custody.
When the officers, looked the other way, they didn't go with the crowd. Most of them, got a little bit of cover between them. They started scanning, see what was going on, and then they moved. They took action to keep everybody else safe.
We're hearing from the daughter of a Colorado man who died in the E. coli outbreak linked to onions on McDonald's Quarter Pounders. Debbie Bonnell says her 88-year-old dad was a regular customer who ate one of the burgers even after he got sick.
It was very hard. I would hold his hand and pray and tell him to try to rest. Try to rest. We're here with you, and we're getting help for you.
Checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down, up 460. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Hi, everyone. If you or someone you know were diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma, listen up. This could be the result of asbestos exposure, and you could be entitled to significant compensation. Call us at 800-570-0200 to find out if you qualify for a cash settlement. I'm senior spokesman John Wood. So, John, tell our listeners who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here to help the listeners. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma should give us a call right now and find out if you qualify for a cash settlement. 800-570-0200.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma, call right now to find out if you qualify for cash compensation. 800-570-0200.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
The death toll from destructive flooding in Spain now tops 200.
This is the soundtrack for thousands in the stricken areas. Shovels scraping and scooping up the thick blanket of mud left on streets, in homes, everywhere. If there's gratitude to be
Hey, Hal, this is Kevin. I'm done earlier than I thought I would be, so give me your address. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'll just be there about 11. Where is Eastern Shore? Did you say Eastern Shore? Okay, I gotta get to the address again. Y'all. Eastern Shore. You said? Eastern Shore Road. Okay. It's a development called Eastern Oaks. It's area just about like more than a quarter of a mile before McElroy Drive. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Hey, you were saying something. Yeah.
intersection of Macklin Drive and Michael get through onto Wheelstoner Road. You walk past Exxon gas station at the corner there. And the first big development is just your Texas Road. You take a right hand and drive into that. And it's called Easton Place. Easton's Place. You just take the first right, that's Easton.
Okay.
Follow that around the foot on the right hand side.
Okay then.
Yeah, right behind the Baptist church.
Okay. I know about where that is. Okay. All right. All right. Mhm.
Journalist, it's the 7 things you should be talking about today.
The 7 things you should be talking about today. Number 7.
You know, we're all garbage, according to how the media and Democrats like to say everyone's garbage if you're voting for Donald Trump. But did you know garbage is getting more expensive? Yes, that's right. Even garbage is more expensive under President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. And since they've taken office, the price has risen 20.5% on consumer goods. Garbage collections up 18.5%.